So a question I get a lot is, what is an appraisal or when is an appraisal needed? So an appraisal is a third-party property valuation that is done by a certified appraiser. This is different or can be different than a realtor's estimated sort of market value of a property, primarily because an appraiser is looking at past sales data. So to give you an example, you're buying a house on a street where 5 other houses on that street have sold in the last 3 to 4 months. The appraiser is comparing your house or the house you're looking at to those houses and comparing the value. So 3 months ago, the house 3 doors down sold for 500,000, and you've offered 550,000 for the house you're looking at. Well, what they're gonna do is say, "Okay, that house sold for 500,000, but it didn't have a finished basement. The house you're looking at did." Or that house sold for 500,000, but the square footage was 1,900 square feet, and the house you're looking at is 2,100 square feet. So what the appraiser is doing is they're using that past sales data to estimate what your house would theoretically be worth given those adjustments. This can be different than a realtor's market value because market values can change very rapidly. So 3 or 4 months ago, that house could have been worth 500,000 and the market has shifted in that time. And the conditions we're in right now, that is happening a lot. There can also be reasons for desirability for your particular house that might not be accounted for in an appraisal. Maybe the house you're looking at has a really unique feature that you really love. You know, it has a unbelievably gorgeous master bath, ensuite bath that is just your dream bathroom. And there's no way for an appraiser to really account for that. You might be willing to pay a little bit more for that, but the appraiser's valuation might not value that. So the appraisal is sort of an independent market value that may or may not match the purchase value of the property. When is an appraisal needed? Well, for the most part, technology has advanced to the point where lenders put all of the property information into a computer system, and then they try and use that computer system to estimate a value. And if your value that you're purchasing for is close to that computer system value, it's probably going to not need an appraisal because it matches sort of what the computer says. But if the computer estimates a purchase price of 475 and you're purchasing 475,000 and you're purchasing for 550, then it's going to flag for an appraisal. And that's where an appraisal might or might not be needed. Thankfully, technology is advancing to the point where we are requiring less appraisals, which is great. There's also a few specific circumstances where you absolutely have to have an appraisal. Number one, a private purchase. In other words, you're not using a realtor. Your Uncle Joe's selling his house and you're buying it privately. Number two, a property with a large amount of acreage. So you're looking at a property with 57 acres. Any property over 5 to 10 acres is very likely going to need an appraisal. All right. Any other questions on this, please let me know. You can always fire me an email and ask. As ever, I always ask clients to send me the listing of any property they're looking at first, and we can discuss if it's likely to have an appraisal or not, or any unique characteristics of the home. All right. Speak soon.